Welcome to Recovery Unfiltered. I'm Larry. I'm an alcoholic.
I am Rob. I am also an alcoholic. We are not professionals. There are no letters after our names. We know very little. However, you will hear the word God and a four-letter word in the same sentence. You will also be offended. So if you are easily offended, just pass us by. This podcast is not for you.
Our opinions are just that. If you don't agree with what we're saying, that's okay. We're going to love you anyways. We are not in any way affiliated with AA.
So sit back, grab a beverage of your choice, and get ready.
Let's go. Hello, Rob.
Hello, Larry. How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm excellent.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
And we got our guest in here with us. Hello, Pat.
Is back.
Hey,
Round
how you
two.
guys doing?
We don't need to introduce him this time because he's here.
Yeah, round two.
Yeah, round two, baby. Round two. Still
Ding,
kicking.
ding.
Still kicking and screaming. So yeah, we brought Pat back. We went through Pat's story. Did we get everything, Pat?
You got the first 5 steps.
Oh, fuck. We don't have 5 hours. Now, do you got anything else you want to put into that? I mean, I don't want to feel like we left you hanging.
No, there's a couple things. So after my 5th step, I've heard a lot of people in the room share how the weight was lifted, right?
Well, it was not my experience.
Wasn't my experience either. My experience was that I had just told somebody everything, exposed all my flaws. And I was like a raw nerve. I was exposed, right. And I was uncomfortable would be the best way I could put it, right? And thank goodness my sponsor was a book thumper, right? Because the book tells us to go home, find a quiet place, pull the book down off the shelf, and reflect upon the first 5 propositions, the first 5 steps, right? And that we've done them to the best of our ability.
Without omitting anything for
There
1
you
hour.
go.
Right.
There you go. And if we can do that, then we're immediately directed to hit our knees and do the 7-step prayer. And 6 is in there.
Yeah, 6 is in
there. Right.
There's a paragraph on 6.
A small paragraph. It's about willingness. If you are willing, if you're not willing to give all this stuff over to God, pray for the willingness. Pray to become willing. But if you are, hit your knees, do this prayer. You have then just completed step 7.
Yeah. So step 6 and 7, right? I've seen people like linger, meander, marinate, right? In it. My sponsor, man, it was the rubber hit the road, man. Go home, pull your book down.
Well, that's what the book says.
Read this.
It says go. It says next we go home.
Yeah. Right. It's not next week, next month, next year. It's like the next action.
Is that 1 hour? That's what the guys know.
Right.
Yeah.
And I used to be so anal, Pat. Not a bad. I'd be like his kind of anal. I would have the guys, wherever your book is, go put it on a shelf, then take it off the shelf because you do it exactly as the book. You don't have to do that, but I was that because I want to make sure that their trust is not in me.
Right.
It's in God and these steps.
Right.
Yeah, I left my sponsor at the beach because I did my 5th step at Ocean Beach. I drove to my home in San Mateo, sat in my family room for an hour. I remember looking at my watch and thinking about it. And was there anything I could have done differently or better? And honestly, I couldn't.
Right.
I couldn't think of anything else to do, right? So I reflected on it, and then I hit my knees in my family room and said that prayer outside out loud by myself. No ice cream, no sponsor holding hands. And that's
a powerful prayer. That's the
Right.
that's the scariest prayer, Bible or big book that I offer myself to the No, I'm sorry. I'm not willing that you should have all of me, good and bad, God, all of me. I mean, you're laying yourself bare to let Him pull out or put in what he desires. It's tough and scary.
Yeah, you're exposed.
Yeah, like a nerve. Just like I say it the same way. Earl Hightower is he has a great speaker. Anyway, he says it the same way because every time I heard it, when people talk about the 5th step, then the great weight was lifted off in this big mountaintop experience. I didn't have that.
Me neither.
And I'm glad I wasn't alone because then I heard Earl H. saying he talked about being an exposed nerve. But it was the only way he was going to know that he could be totally honest with someone and you wouldn't throw him away. And that's how I felt with Jay. I'm going to have to do this and be totally honest and just hope that this man doesn't cast me aside after what he hears. And then like yours, Jay shared some things with me and you wouldn't expect. I was like, oh, this chicken died too. Son of a bitch. I'm not alone. I am not alone.
Right.
And I'm not unique. Everybody's chicken dies. Not everybody's, but
That guy with the light in his eyes, his name was Carmack, and he lives up in Bend, Oregon now. And he's an active member. He's been sober for see, 33 and a half, 34 years. Because he had a couple of years when I got here, right?
And that was the guy going back to our last episode that handed you the meeting.
That
guy.
wrote his phone number on the meeting schedule
yeah.
and circled the meetings.
Well,
and
if what Pat had partied with in certain circles, they would cross circles a little bit.
But that, you know, I gave that man credit for saving my life. He goes, no. He goes, I did not save your life. He goes, God used me to carry the message to you.
Right.
But I had nothing to do with it. That's between you and God. Right. But getting back to the point I was trying to make, when I did that 7-step prayer in my family room, that's when I had that sense of ease and comfort. The weight was lifted.
Yes.
And it was like 90 minutes later. So although I was extremely uncomfortable and I felt like a raw nerve,
right,
it wasn't for very long.
Right.
You know, if we do this thing as outlined in the book, the relief comes
as you
that.
Well, that's what it says. We launch out on a course of vigorous action. Next, we do this.
Right.
Yeah.
There is no, do a step a month. If you do anyway,
no, I heard that.
I'm not going to crack on anybody.
No.
That's not what. If you do that, you choose to sponsor that way. That's your business. That's not what this says to do. It's like this.
I am going to say it a little differently because as I was doing my 5th step, I felt like an onion being peeled back, and you guys have heard me say that. And the more that onion peeled, the lighter I felt, because some of that stuff that was coming out and some of that I was, and it was Rob that I shared all that stuff with. Each time I went on to another one, I felt a little bit more.
And that's usually
I felt more because the more I got off, the more it came out, the more that I felt light. By the time 6 and 7 came around, I was just ready to go to 8 and 9. I was just ready to go. I said the prayer, but I had made that. I felt like the step 7 prayer for me happened. I mean, just like because of the man I am, same way as I did with Chris up at Recovery, I come running out wanting to start making amends, right? I wanted to go. And I said this, I mean, Rob, Chris, anybody that was walking me through that first period of my sobriety, I was wanting to get that serenity. I felt it, right? I felt the edge of serenity. I felt that. And as my alcohol, as my drug, I wanted more of that serenity. I wanted more of that peace that I felt kept coming over me. And the more I dug in, the more I wanted it. And if these guys would have told me to go stand on the side of the freeway and count cars, that's what's going to get me sober, and that's what's going to get me more of that serenity, I would have done it, right?
But that's the willingness that it takes,
right? I mean,
to get the result.
But I felt what I felt. Maybe this is the wrong way to say it, but I felt in that what I was chasing with my alcohol, right? I was getting that serenity that I never got with alcohol. No matter how much I poured down my neck, I never felt that peace and that serenity that I was chasing with my drink. For me, I wasn't drinking to get drunk. I was drinking for that ease, to ease everything I had inside my body, all that tension and all that anxiety that I had inside of me. That's why I was drinking, right?
But going back to that raw nerve feeling, right? That, I've just bared my soul to this human being, right? Because it's to God and another human being, right?
Right.
God was there.
Statute of limitations and all.
Yeah, God was riding shotgun, man. He was there. He already knows.
Right.
But the power in sharing that with another human being, and not just any human being, it's got to be somebody that you got a level of trust in.
Yes.
Right? It's a life-changing experience. But that raw nerve feeling, what's that boil down to, Rob? Fear. Right? Fear of being exposed. Right? I left that guy thinking that, and this is my alcoholic brain, right? That the next day in the San Francisco Chronicle, which was a newspaper in the city, there'd be a half-a-page ad. Pat did this, and his chicken died too, right? Or whatever, right? I mean, honest to God, that was that self-centered fear, right?
Right.
And then 90 minutes later, I'm back into faith, and that fear is gone. What a miracle.
But what as you talked about, what my sponsor gave me, because I was that raw nerve, and that's why I like you to share it and me to share it, so there's more than one person, because most experiences are yours.
Right.
But I want people listening, if you do this and you do feel like a raw nerve, that's normal too. That happens too.
Right.
But my sponsor sharing with me a few things. Hey, here's some of my story. Here's some things you don't know that I shared with my sponsor, just to give you. Because once I let my cats out of the bag, again, and we're not the devil.
No,
we weren't angels, humans. But I needed that, and I too. Once went home and did my 7th, I was by myself. Hit the browser. I had my head on the bed, on my knees, and that my body was in a position of surrender, because that's where I want my mind and heart. And once I prayed that prayer and just sat there and then I took my paperwork outside and I burned it. And in that moment, watching the cinder and everything turn to ash, God just came. That's when I felt the Spirit fill me and just like, okay, this is, wow, I didn't know a human being could feel like this. Yeah. This is, like you said, this is what I was chasing.
Right.
I was trying to feel with sex, drugs, alcohol, you name it.
Right. We were trying to fill it with everything.
And all I needed was God.
Yeah. I can honestly say, just by listening to you guys talk about the raw nerve, I never felt that. When I puked everything out to you, I was just.
No, you were great.
I was happy to go. Get it the fuck out.
Pat's the only other person I've ever met who share about this point has the same experience.
Well, your guys' chicken died in a different way than mine did.
Oh man, I'll tell you what.
It was loud and violent.
Stop.
No chicken can make that kind of noise.
We did stop.
Oh man.
Rhode Island Red was what my brand of chicken.
Foghorn Leghorn.
You guys are killing me.
All right, let's get it back on the rails. Man. Yeah. Holy cow.
Come on back in.
But Pat talked about fear.
Right.
Yeah.
And because you hear his story and our story, you heard Jason's story.
Right.
What are we afraid of? When you talk about fear, being dropped in an ocean surrounded by sharks, that's terror. That's different.
Right.
Rejection, like Doug talked about. Rejection, abandonment, fear we're not going to get something we think we deserve. Fear you're going to take something from us. Fear of what you think of me. Fear of what I might think of myself. Fear that I might be exposed. You're going to see this paperwork. You're not going to like me.
Right.
You're going to think less of me. Yeah, we care.
Right. This is a subject that like I said, we talked about it for 3 episodes now.
That's why it's part of our inventory. You have a resentment list, a fear inventory, and a sexual inventory. Yeah. Those 3, if you're going to get tripped up on something as a human being, it's going to be found somewhere in there.
We've literally talked about this for 3 episodes, and I wanted to bring it up in a topic setting. I wanted to get back to this because I just want to take a quick pause for some house cleaning. Our email has changed, and I wanted to say this in the front of this podcast because if we keep saying it at the back, it doesn't always get heard. And I've said that before. My daughter Miranda has said that our email is recoveryunfilteredpodcast@gmail.com. That's recoveryunfilteredpodcast@gmail.com. If you hear anything in these podcasts, you want to reach out to any of the guests, talk to any of the guests, please email us there. You got questions, concerns, you got somebody you need a 12-step after. I don't care if they're in this country or another country. The phone works anywhere we go. And
Thank you, Miranda, for simplifying our email.
Right, Miranda. We love you for that.
There's no more Rob N.
No. That was what my daughter.
She put a stop to that. She's good. She put a stop to that.
God love her. I like her better already, and I haven't even met her yet.
Yeah, she would. That girl right there. I really haven't given her.
Well, and to tell, what did you tell? Because you and I had talked about when we were the other day, and I wanted you to bring it. We're going to have them on,
right?
But touch on a little bit more because she did a lot. Right, and Maynard, when all that got brought in.
She hasn't
touch on that.
I have, Miranda. I make fun of McKenna and Miranda because McKenna and Miranda's my daughters. Their personalities are night and day difference. Right, McKenna will say, "Go fuck yourself," and Miranda will give you a hug to make you feel better. Right, they're 2 very, very different human beings, and I love them both with every ounce of my blood. The same, right? I mean,
but they're different.
They are so very different.
Miranda is a lot like you.
Miranda is a lot like me, right? She is a walking, and don't hate her for this, but she is a walking Larry, blonde, blue-eyed, beautiful woman, and she got the compassion gene that I have, right? So we're very compassionate to everybody, everything. We worry about whether I fixed Pat's in between. I fixed Pat's cord right here that he mentioned nothing about, but it looked like it was bothering him. So I just fixed it for him, but that's what we do, right? We worry about that. And whenever everything was going on, she was always there for her mom and always there for me before I went in and even when I was getting ready to go in, she was the one that was putting the foot in. I mean, Don't get me wrong. Katie was huge in that, but Miranda was there for her mother. Miranda's the one that was doing the leg work while Katie was working with me, and it really was a combined effort with the entire family. And I don't know why this isn't a rabbit hole. It's not something, and it's just something that's been on my mind that I've been trying to get through. Right. My kids, I was very fortunate that my kids weren't little, right? They didn't watch, they don't have the memories of their dad being a drunk and doing the things that he did. What they do have is they were older and they have a lot of opinions on what dad did and what dad didn't do, right? So I don't know which is worse or which is better, right? So I still have to recover that relationship with both of my daughters, and one sees it one way, one sees it the other. And for me, I'm black and white, right? Unfortunately, I'm very black and white. What's good for one needs to be good for the other, right? Well, it's not that way, right? It's not, so I forget that, and I forget what everything that she done for me and her mom. It's not forgotten. It's just not spoke about, right? It's not. I know what she did. I know what she was here for me.
Also, you had that nervous breakdown before you got sober.
Yeah. She just was here for that. She came to her mother and I 2.5 months early, and she was in a little incubator. Fuck.
She's a gift.
Oh.
This alcoholism stuff is brutal, isn't it, Rob?
It is.
Because of the tentacles, it affects the entire family. We're out there drinking and using and ripping and running and being the best gangsters we can be with no regard whatsoever.
I'm not hurting anybody.
For who it's going to hurt, who it's going to affect, the tentacles, right? Mm-hmm. And then, the rubber hits the road. We find some recovery, and we're that farmer coming out of the cellar going, look, Ma, ain't it grand? The wind stopped blowing,
Don't see nothing wrong here.
And we've left this trail
right.
of destruction behind us with family, friends, our children, right? And
and some of it's 20 years of destruction,
right.
30. Some of it's two years of destruction. It doesn't. It's just destruction.
We really don't know how deep it goes, right?
And when we can't, it is when we put in all this work, and as we get some time, 2 years,
right?
We're looking. Come on, like Eric said
right.
today, I'm sober.
Right?
Why isn't everybody over it by now?
Right.
Come on, and it takes them time because they didn't need to put in the work we did.
It's a process, though.
It's a process,
right? It's like if you cut yourself in a blink of an eye. Right?
Oh, yeah.
But for that wound to heal,
it takes time.
Could take weeks or months, right?
And depending on what you do with that, how you intend to medicate that, doctor that up, could take longer, could be shorter.
Thanks for covering for me there, guys. And we don't cut. We try to keep this, as I said, it's unfiltered and it's raw, right? And, Miranda came to us very early, as I was saying. She came to us too early, and God protected her and put her in a little... she was in an incubator for her mom, and I couldn't touch her physically with our hands for a month. I want to say, I don't know, Katie will fix me on that, but it's for a while. Katie didn't even get to see her daughter for several days after. I was working down south, and I got a phone call and said, hey, you need to get home right away. We haven't called Katie, but we know you typically work, a ways. So I was I'm going down a rabbit hole, but I was in the doctor's office when Katie showed up. I was already there, and Katie walked in, and Katie was like, what are you doing here? Well, they called me to get here. They knew that, so they took Katie from the time they're in there, and they had Miranda out of her less than an hour because her placenta stopped feeding the baby and stopped feeding Miranda.
You know something, Larry? It sounds like you might have some unfinished business there with Miranda. You guys might need to go find a shade tree and have a little heart-to-heart, And,
but we're going to do a podcast with both daughters.
Oh, well, there you go. That might be the opportunity.
It's just, to go back to know what she's...
She was instrumental
we
in
opened up a
saving your
can
life.
here. We didn't even know this can was going to get open, and here we go. This is why I love it. This is what God does. We didn't know this can of worms, not a can of worms, but we didn't know this was going.
Yeah.
So let's go.
And then she
Unfiltered.
Oh, she was huge. She was
Unfiltered.
Yeah, and then she goes through all that, and then at 3 months old, she gets diagnosed with a tumor behind her eye. So they ripped her from her arms again, and at the hospital they over medicated her because they had to put her in an MRI machine. So they over medicated her, so she wasn't even waking up, and they said, we got to get her directly over to UCSF. So they put her in an ambulance, and they took off. And me
From
and her,
where?
From Doctor's Hospital.
Modesto to Frisco.
At 3 months old, I mean, she sat at born, right? She stayed in there for a month and a half. She couldn't even come home until she gained 4 pounds. And then she got we finally got her home, and at 3 months old, her eye was swollen up to where she couldn't even hardly open it. And the doctors kept saying it was clogged tear duct, blah, blah, blah. Well, we finally were just like, we're not taking this answer anymore. Katie was, thank God for Katie. And so we finally did, and they put her in the MRI machine. They gave her some medication to get her in the MRI machine. When they finally got her out, they said, well, we got to get her over to UCFS. She's got a tumor behind her eye. And
that's a hell of a start to life right there, buddy.
Oh, yeah. She fought.
Well, it only gets better from there, right? Yeah. You overcome challenges like that early on.
And we got her over. We followed her all the way over and prayed the whole way. And we got over there, and we toured the whole Ronald McDonald House. You know, we pretty much, at this point, we were aware that it could be a malignant tumor behind her eye, but once again, we're just going off what the doctors are saying. And she so funny. So we're there probably a good hour and a half, and the specialist for that department, he came in. This guy came in full duck gear, still had his camo on.
Oh, I like this guy already.
Dude, as soon as he walked in, I was like, yep. And he comes in and he looks at it. I'm telling you guys, we weren't there more. When he walked into the room, we weren't there more than 5 minutes. And that doctor goes, looked at her thing. It says, they do this all the time. They misdiagnose it's a clogged tear duct. He literally got behind him, got out a syringe and said, yeah, you or mom may or not want to watch this. And they put some steroids right dead in the center of her eyeball and said, okay, come back in a couple weeks, and gone. And
back out to the blind.
Yeah, that's a damn doctor right there.
Dude, I'm telling you, it was just God, just literally from Modesto to Oakdale, or from Modesto to UC San Francisco, from our 3-month-old daughter.
What kind of fear went through your mind in that
drive? She was dead.
Right.
She was dead. We lost it.
We always go to the worst.
Right. We lost her, right? I mean, and of course, as soon as we walk in the Ronald McDonald House, they're taking us through the cancer ward, you know, and you're seeing all these babies with this cancer, and it's just brutal.
Yes, it is.
That's why when we went back for Matt and Mary's, that it just literally, that shit rushed back into me there too, because I you know, and
Larry's a emotional man.
Oh, I'm extremely, when it comes to my daughters, yeah, and my wife.
I think it might affect a little more than your daughters and your wife.
I'm emotional.
A soft shell. I mean, iron marshmallow.
We got a phone call just before we started the podcast. You know, one of our brothers is he's going through some bad news right now. We don't know where it's at, right? So that fear for me, I automatically go back to that, right? To my daughter being rushed to UC San Francisco. That when I say that I have a hard time with that stuff, that's why, right?
We got
and it comes back to that.
I think Pat's right. We got to work through some of this, baby. This is good stuff.
I definitely did not see that one coming at all. So my daughter, she fought from the very beginning, and she does still. She's a fighter. Both my kids are both. Not taking anything away from McKenna. They're both fighters. They don't. One fights for one and one fights for the other. And Miranda knew her dad was sick. She was fighting for dad.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you, recovery is a family thing too, right? Because
your wife was pregnant when with your first. How many children we never got into that, Pat. How many children do you have?
So we have two. I have a girl, she'll be 31 in October, and my son was 27th in June, and he wouldn't be here. He's a gift of recovery.
How so?
Because my wife was leaving, and we were pregnant with the first one. I don't know how you have the second one if she's gone, right? Yeah. So, but neither one of my kids have seen me take a drink. They've seen me angry, but they haven't seen that alcoholic rage. And if I have one regret, some of my road dogs used to come over and we'd be talking about the good old days, and telling stories of some of the carryings on we did, and I don't know if it like glamorized some of, my tomfoolery or what, but my kids would repeat the stories. Yeah, my dad did this once or something. And I'd catch him out and say, oh man, don't be doing that, and yeah.
All right. Once again, thanks, guys. That got out. Sorry.
Podcast goes where it goes.
It is, and honestly, I did not see that coming. The listeners are probably not going to give a shit, but that was as raw as it gets. Had not worked through that, so
more will be revealed, I believe they say.
Yeah, I mean those. We talk about fears, and that's what we kind of started talking about. I don't have. Katie and I has had this conversation and multiple times. The end's the end. Boom, you're done, gone. Boom, bury out. Right. And I'm very morbid thought process for me, and I don't know how. When somebody very close to me goes, I don't know how that's ever going to come across. For me, when you're dead, go. Right? Burn me, bury me, piss on me, go on. If I died, it's because I did something stupid. Right?
Not necessarily. Oh, back then.
Well, no, I still feel that way. No. I still feel that way.
Is your nation thing still open? I'll take that job when you go, Larry. I'll do the pissing.
But that's my morbid thought. But when it comes to my kids, right. It comes to that stuff, I still that fear of that loss, the fear of that.
But what is it that we fear? Pain?
The pain. The fear of having to face that, right?
What Matt and Mary just faced.
What Matt and Mary, but this is what I'm talking about. When I sit and listen to it, I go back to where this podcast originally started and where it came from, right? What was my vision? Is because I couldn't get across to a man why his son couldn't stop.
Made the decisions he
made his decisions, and I couldn't get that across to him. And what I failed, right, at the time to provide for my friend was he didn't need to hear my bullshit. He just needed a friend, right? He just needed that. But I failed that, right? And I understand that now. I had a chance my wife has a lot of conversations with this gentleman. We went and had lunch with him last week, and where he's at today, because he understands it, and he's gotten the count. He has spoken to people other than me, than God, and he understands this crazy thing now better. So his bright light is back on, and it's so enjoyable to see.
So I got to call bullshit on a couple of things here.
Hit me, brother. I love it.
One, did you do the best you could for your friend? That's a yes or no. I don't need a paragraph and a half.
Yes, okay. I did.
All right. You got to leave the results up to God. Right. When you carry the message, you're just the messenger, right. And people hear what they need to hear when they need to hear it, right? And he probably needed to continue to walk through that experience he was going through, right? And then it's, you talked about how you failed. You didn't fail. You did the best you could. Right. If you're, my position in life is if you're doing the best you can do, if you're giving it your honest best effort, that's all you got.
Right.
There's no failure in doing your best.
And you know when you were doing that, and you know when we are not.
Right.
But you know what the problem though with that is, I wasn't stepping out of the way and letting God do. Right.
And the reason you say you failed is because you didn't see the results you wanted to.
I wanted him to look at me and go, "Oh my God, Larry, you're right. Yeah. You're so smart."
But when you're knee deep in that pain,
oh yeah, I was hurting. I was hurting along with him because his son was. I mean, he's in my family pictures on the wall. I mean, he was part of my family. So I mean, I was hurting, and that's the way I was dealing with it. And that's why I say when I deal with stuff like that is, and we've talked about this before. What's my natural right for my defense mechanism inside me is fuck you, go away, right? That's my defense.
But then when the real Larry shows up,
right,
just
which
like
just
Miranda,
happened,
just like Miranda, you guys want to fix. You want to you're in pain. I love you. I'm gonna
fix you.
I want to get that pain away but sometimes pain is good.
Right,
pain is useful.
It's like when your child breaks their arm, right? I'd much rather have a broken arm than see my kids go through it. Right. Break my friggin' arm. Leave my kid alone. Yep. But that's not how life works, right? No. We all have a path. We're all on a journey, right? And it's different for every one of us. Just like when you got sober and when Rob got sober and when I got sober, we did the same 12 steps. We had similar experiences, but they're all different, right? Yep. We had that spiritual awakening as the result of these steps, right? But my awakening is different than your awakening. It's different than Rob's awakening. Right. And it enables us to live the best lives that we can live. Right.
Yep.
But we suffer from that human condition. We aren't always going to have the right answer. We aren't always going to make the perfect move.
No, sir.
We're going to fall short.
Right.
Shortcomings. Right.
Don't you make a fucking joke either.
Who, me?
About shortcomings.
Oh, fuck you.
We got character defects and shortcomings. And I've heard it said that Bill W. used the two different terms because he didn't want to repeat himself in the steps. And I don't know if that's true or not. I've heard that. But a character defect, this is me. This is my opinion based on my experience, and I'm not co-signing anything else, right? This is just my opinion. A character defect is something I have that I'd like to be free of. Right? It's a behavior, an action, whatever it is. It's something I do or something about my character that I'd like to be free of. And a shortcoming is something that I do that I fall short in that I'd like to be better at. Something. It's like you have a lot of empathy.
Oh, God.
I am not the most empathetic guy on the planet. I'll tell you that right now. I'll tell you to leave your feelings in the goddamn truck. There's no place for it. Yeah, so that's a shortcoming. I could use a little more empathy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And the way I deliver that message is a character defect.
Yeah. Yes.
So that's kind of my spin on it.
Right.
Which I love that. That's beautiful.
Because I fall short in some areas, and then there's other behaviors that I'd like to curb or completely eliminate. But my character defects are like boomerangs. Right. I can be free of them one moment.
Oh yeah.
But if I don't stay spiritually fit.
Oh yeah.
And it only takes a minute to flip that switch sometimes.
Preach it, brother.
A Prius in the fast lane will foul that up for me, and I had to clean that up. I almost said the F word. A Prius in the fast lane will foul that up for me quicker than anything else, right?
That's right.
My buddy just told me the new Prius is the Teslas.
The Teslas.
The new Prius is the Teslas.
They drive the same.
And my daughter drives a Tesla.
Yeah, but she probably drives it like it's a Ferrari. God
she does. It runs out of freaking energy all the time because she doesn't know how to conserve it. You said something a minute ago. I wanted to dig back into that for a second. We're all over the place, but that's okay. Bill W. used two different terms to not repeat himself. What did you mean by that?
So I asked somebody. I can't even.
Jay said the same thing. But
I've been sober for a little while, and I've had so many conversations about the book, and I don't remember who I was talking to about it, but I was asking somebody, what's the difference between a character defect and a shortcoming?
Okay.
And this guy's opinion, and he probably heard it from somebody else, it's almost like a game of telephone, right? Was that Bill W. didn't want to use the same term twice.
Okay.
In two consecutive steps, right?
Okay.
So that he changed up the terminology.
Okay.
But he was talking about,
basically the same thing.
Shortcomings and character defects are the same. Right.
And then I have a little different opinion, right? I have character defects and shortcomings are where I don't meet the mark.
Right.
Right.
That's
and some people say they're one of the same.
right.
Yeah. I'd like to be a better man, and I have to continue to work at that. And in order to be a better man, some of these defects I have to shed.
Right. Yeah. Right.
I like a snake shedding his skin, but I'm not a snake type guy. Wouldn't want Jason to get wrapped around the axle over that.
The audience hasn't heard the Jason story yet, but
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
the Jason and the Fear story.
You can edit that.
Yeah.
No. We can do it.
We're going to wrap back around to it.
It's a great fear.
No, we're going to wrap back around to it because we're going to dig into that a little bit more here in just a second. Okay, so that's that. So yeah, we're gonna walk into the fears, and those of you that not those of you, people that just listen to it. I mean, yes, what you heard me was digging in a little to an area where I wasn't realizing that was still there.
Raw. We were talking about raw nerves, and here goes Larry.
And Rob, for my benefit, what is character? What is fear a character defect?
Oh God.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
it
would
is.
think so too.
Fear-
So that's
fear is
something
a-
you want to cast aside.
Right.
Or if you can, you have God cast it. But you've got to recognize it, what you're afraid of, and why you're afraid of it.
And lack of faith is a shortcoming.
Lack of faith is a shortcoming.
Right.
See,
That's a great definition, by the way. I like how you put that, Pat. I like that. I had this very, very intelligent man, and not to boast his ego, I'm sure he heard it from somebody else, told me that your own character defects can create a resentment towards somebody. And I was like, fuck do you mean by that?
Who is that man?
Some little short 4 foot.
I was going to say that cuts pretty
fucking
close to the
hobbit.
bone right there.
Fucking
I'm
hobbit.
feeling that one.
That Hobbit's pretty fucking
Fucking
smart. as well.
hobbit that's sitting across from me.
I got to tell you, that one's stinging, man. That's hitting pretty close to home. I need to look at that.
And I never did understand what he meant by that. And I'm going to use this real fast because God love my wife, but I was really mad at her because I was wanting to go. We got a beautiful motorhome that God provided for me once I got sober. And
God and hard work.
Yeah, and hard work. And I mean, God blessed us with that, but we have it and we're not going anywhere. And I was like, well, I want to go, and I want to go. And Katie was, we can't do this, we can't do that, no, we can't do this, we got to do this, we got to do this. And now in my mind, I'm like, this damn woman is not wanting to go to you. And I was getting madder and madder at her, right? And I remember what he said one time, the little hobbit across from me. I remember what he said, and he said that a character flaw will create a resentment to another person. And you know what? My resentment that I was getting at my wife, was because of my character flaw of selfishness, right? I was wanting to go. I didn't give a shit that we had to do this. I didn't give a shit that we had this. I didn't give a shit that Katie had stuff on her plate. I didn't give a shit about any of that, right? So my character's flaw of my selfishness was creating that resentment that I was having against my wife.
It's all you.
Yeah, it was. It was everything to me. And when I recognized that, and my fear of not being able to go do that, my fear of not being able to go there, and I finally said, fuck it, we'll just sell the motorhome because we can't go nowhere. Anyways, right?
And there's the alcoholic right there.
Right?
100%. Without drink, because our liquor
Let's
was
just blow it up.
Right.
Because our liquor was but a symptom, was never our problem.
Right.
And now when we have issues, haven't had a spiritual awakening, we don't think about drinking. I know Pat does. We have that kind of thing. But we still have these defects and these issues that we need to work through, and they get sharpened or they get lessened as we allow God to have them. Because let's be honest.
Right.
If you have a character defect or a shortcoming and you still possess it, and if let's say a shortcoming that you want to get better at or a defect you want taken away, if you still possess it, there's two reasons. Either your God isn't strong enough to take it, or you don't want to give it up. That's it.
We talk about it with my Copenhagen all the time.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know what, man? I've heard the Copenhagen thing come around a few times, and the bottom line
Lay it down,
is...
Pat.
Here we go.
Hold on. The bottom line is that when you're ready to give it up, you give it up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't need to make excuses
Nope,
about it.
I won't.
When you're ready, you will, and if you're never ready,
I did that
you
too
won't.
long drinking. You know what I mean? I did it way too long drinking. Where I'm at right now, I'll tell you, and I've said it, you guys have heard me say it on this podcast. I'll give it up whenever the fuck I want to give it up. Not until then.
That's right.
I ain't making no excuses. I did for a little while. And when I found myself doing with my Copenhagen what I was doing with my alcohol, I was like, no, I am not doing that. I am not.
And what were you doing?
I was hiding it.
Right.
I was doing different stuff. I was showing it. I was blah, blah. I was doing the same shit I was doing with my alcohol. And I was like, no, fuck that. I'm not going back down. I chew. It's right here. I'm going to take it when I want it, and I'll give it up when I want. Is it a resentment to my wife? Fucking huge, huge resentment that my wife has. Huge. And you would think for the love that I have for her that I would just be willing to give it up. Well, nope. Right?
It's growth, baby. It's just growth.
And I know that. And I feel bad for her that she has that resentment. You know, I don't like it. But
whose is it?
It's mine.
No, it's hers.
It's hers. Yes, you're right. It's her resentment. But I have to live with what I have, right? I know I have to give it up.
Hey, Rob, what's the root of our problem?
Selfishness and self-centeredness, page 62, is the root of our trouble. Driven by 100 forms of fear and self-delusion, we step on the toes of others, seemingly without provocation.
All right.
We're sorry, Larry. I couldn't resist.
No, you're good, dude. I knew it was coming.
I couldn't resist.
Here's the problem I'm having with, and I knew this is why I wanted both you in here. Because with this much knowledge between the two of you dummies, I knew there was absolutely zero I could say that was going to go falling on the ears, right? So here, I found this the other day. I'm going to read it. We were sitting, and you guys, a couple podcasts back, you heard me talk about this. I was sitting in a meeting. It was a Friday night meeting, and normally there's not that many people, but we had probably every other recovery facility in the district or in the city show up that night. And I was like, oh, man. And what I say, if I don't get to talk in a meeting, that's a fear, right?
Yeah.
I got to get out.
He needs to be heard.
My God, I have to be heard, right? I ain't afraid to say it. But so what I started doing,
and he was the last, and he was the last.
I was the last
because they finally got to him.
They weren't calling on people. They were going around the damn room,
which is rare at that meeting,
right? It's very rare at that meeting. But they started to their left, and I was all the way to their right, the very last one. And I thought, I'm not going to be able. So I started grabbing through my.
And that is a shortcoming.
Well, what he could have done was gone to the restroom and sat down in the middle somewhere.
And don't put it past him; he'll do some shit like that.
But what I've learned to deal with those kind of things is I started writing down, and I started writing what I want to share down on a piece of paper.
Not paying attention what the fuck anybody else is saying.
Right. So that way, if I get it, I figured if I write it down, then I don't leave the meeting going, fuck, I really wanted to share, right? So I'm thumbing through my book, trying to find something to write on. I come up, I pull out this piece of paper, and literally on this, fear of letting go. Fuck that. If hold on a sec. Am I writing something? Fuck. Take what else I need to do. I don't want fear. God is on my side. Fear, anxiety, fear, resentment, fear, jealousy, fear, frustration, fear, envy, fear of not being called on at a meeting.
But I like how you put all those other words, because that's all. Anxiety. That's a 4-syllable word for one word. Fear. Just say fear.
Right.
Don't soften it up.
Right.
Don't dress it up. It's fear. It boils down to one thing.
Right.
Fear.
Did not know if this. So after that, did not know if what I was doing. Fear of what? Fear of something. Why? When? No answer. Fear of vulnerability. Fear to drink. Fear to fall. I wish I had written the date on this. Fear of the not knowing. Fear of what if. I wrote that.
Fear of why.
Right. Fear of feeling less of a person. Fear of letting myself down. Fear of disappointing others. Fear of rejection.
Abandonment.
Patience. Path to patience. Fear not knowing. How many times did I write that down? Here again, not knowing. What
That's
if it
control.
doesn't? Oh, buddy,
that's
100%, 100% what that is.
But there's not a human being that, if we listen to this, drunk or sober, alcoholic or not, that doesn't have those.
Yeah, fear of things not going on my schedule. It doesn't happen. I don't go on my schedule. My time. Dude, what a dick. What the fuck?
Sounds like you were on a roll. Bit of a rant there in the written word.
You know what? I didn't get to share this in a meeting, or I wouldn't have written that far down. And thank God, if a newcomer was in there and heard all this, they would have got up and ran out.
No, they could associate, because they're right there. That's where they are. When a newcomer comes in, that's where they're afraid of everything.
I had to have written this pretty early on.
But not knowing it.
Right.
Not knowing why they're drinking, not knowing, well, it's fear. It's fear of rejection, fear of abandonment, fear of all those things.
Right.
That's what, and they're right in it. They just can't recognize it.
Do you find you're still getting fears?
Sometimes. I mean, it crops up. What does page 85 tell us? The 10 step, as we conduct ourselves through our day, we got to continue to watch for resentment, selfishness, dishonesty, and fear. When these crop up, not if, it says when these cropped up, we ask God at once to remove them. Yeah. And if he doesn't, there's one reason. You don't want it removed yet.
Right.
So you can take some actions. If I'm holding on, again, in early sobriety, I thought it was kind of neat that I could have a resentment and I could be stewed at someone, or I could have a fear, and I'm not drunk. Right. I'm going to wallow in my own shit. Right. Then that's a waste of time. As you get sober, as you get more mature, if I'm holding on to something, a fear, a resentment, whatever, more than 1 hour, I'm calling someone. I'm calling one of my brothers, and if I have to do one of these, just your little step work. Hey, Larry, I'm afraid of X. This is the cause. It's affecting my serenity, my right now. Right. What did I do? I'll give you my part. Right? Where was I? Selfish, and I say that. Then you and I will pray, Aaron. We've done this. And once I do that, take that action, it is gone. Right. Because I want it, and I displayed that by taking this action, and it's gone. But I don't let it last 1 hour.
31 years, you still going through that step, Pat?
I was taught that you can't be in fear and in faith at the same time.
Good.
And I've had people argue with me over that. And it's like, well, maybe you can. No. But I can't.
I can't either.
And if I'm in fear, I have to pray about it.
Oh, yeah.
And, there's a lot of people that know me pretty well. And when they hear me reference praying about stuff, I never see you pray. Right. Prayer takes all kinds of different forms.
Yes, it does.
Right? I mean, I could be laying under a car praying.
Did you know, as you were driving out here, I don't know if you, I was like, well, I wonder what Pat thinks. As we were coming out here, I was talking to God and being Portuguese, like Italian. I can't talk without my hands. So I'm driving, I'm doing this, and I'm like, and I see people look at me sometimes like that.
I prayed all the way out here.
I did too, but I do it like this. I wonder what Pat thinks I'm doing in here. There's no one with me. He maybe thinks I'm on the phone, but I'm doing this shit. I'm talking to God about on our way out here.
But going back to the fear and the faith, right? I have a trust in my God, a firm belief in my God. My God didn't bring me this far to drop me.
Right.
Right. And, when I find myself in fear, I pray for its removal. Right. But I've never faced what Matt and Mary faced. I've never faced what you faced. What our friend Mike's going to be facing.
Right.
Right. I've never faced that. Right. So I don't know how. I'd like to think my faith would survive the test or would pass the test, but it hasn't been tested to that degree.
Right.
Right. So, I'm a firm believer because it was the way I was taught that they can't coexist. If you're in fear, you need to find your way to faith. And until you do, you're going to be uncomfortable.
Right. And to that point, that's where the Jason and the snake came in. Because I've said, now I'm not saying that fears don't crop up, because they do. That's why we have that step. They will. Life's going to happen. But I believe that a healthy fear is just an unhealthy faith.
Right.
And when I was sharing with Jason about that, he says, no, Rob, I have a healthy fear of snakes. I said, really? I go, so if I go grab, and this was the example, if I go grab a gopher snake and run it up to you, you're going to run away like a bitch? No, Rob, but if it was a rattlesnake, I said, well, why? Right. He goes, because it can kill you. Oh, I go, so death is the fear.
Right.
It just manifests itself as a snake right now. You get some faith working on that death problem, which we're all going to do.
Right.
Snake will disappear. He goes, well, I have a healthy fear of alcohol. I go, a healthy fear or a healthy respect? A healthy fear. I go, why?
Right.
No one's ever had to hold you down and pour Jack Daniels down you. He goes, well, I don't want to end up where I was. Oh, so relapse is the fear. Right. It just looks like a bottle of Jack Daniels right now. Let's get some faith working on that relapse problem. That bottle will disappear, I promise you. Yeah. So I do not believe they can coexist either.
No.
But fears are going to crop up, and they're for everybody. But we have tools now.
Yes.
To deal with it.
And I think that, and I talk about that a lot, right? And for me, my personality is the more, and it's the reason why I talk so much, is because the more I talk, the more I learn, right? You know, you learn it, you teach it, you do it. I believe in that.
It also takes the power out.
Right.
Get it out of here.
Oh, yes.
Because we'll turn something like a marble into a bowling ball.
100%.
But once you get it out on paper, get it out in your hands with another man, oh, that ain't so bad.
You know how many times I've walked into my boss's office, or you and I have done this, and hey, I got to talk to you about something. And we sit there, and what starts out as a problem, I walk out with the solution, and you never had to say a word because I thought myself, I have to talk. If I leave it up here, it's like watching a tennis match, right? For me, if I'm talking to somebody and those words are coming out, whether they're vocal or whether they're on paper. But you already knew
the answer. What I would do is just ask you a few questions. It would just go around, and you already had the answer. You would just needed.
There's been times where we've talked and you never said a word. You have. I mean, there's times where I just call ranting, and by the end of the conversation,
he's good.
I'm good. And he never said a fucking word, right?
That's great. That's good sponsorship right there, Pat.
I got to tell you, man.
That's lazy sponsorship. Oh, you could have had that fucker on mute.
I probably did. I was just driving.
But it's the way I handle it, right? It's the way when I went through my steps and when I was done with that process, it's not that I don't need him. I need him as a friend. Same way as I need you, Pat. It's a relationship change, right? Same way as I need Pat. Same way as I need everybody in our men's group, in our fellowships, even it doesn't matter where it's at. As much as I need them, they're all sponsors to me, and we've had this conversation too.
You know what's funny though? You're talking about having conversations with Rob where he doesn't have to say a word, and that is very, very common because more often than not, we know what the right thing to do is.
Right. Sure.
We're just looking for affirmation.
Right.
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 And, you know, my first thought isn't always the right thought, but my second thought is generally much better grounded. You know, I mean, we were in a meeting a few weeks ago and I had to tell on myself, right?
Yeah,
it was hot as heck. And we were going through that heat wave and I was thinking, and I had yard work to do and stuff. And I had this thought. It came out of nowhere. And it was like, man, a cold Budweiser after all that yard work would be good. And I could see the can and I could see it sweating and everything. And then my second thought was, what the heck are you thinking?
That's actually not the vocabulary used, but I appreciate that.
You know, what the heck are you thinking? Right. You know, because I may as well put a gun in my mouth, you know? I mean, because alcohol will kill me. But it won't give me the benefit of a quick death. Nope. It'll be a slow, painful death, and everyone around me is going to suffer. Right? Anybody who cares about me at all is going to suffer watching me through it. Right. You know?
Yeah.
But every once in a while, I mean, at 31 years, I'm not immune. I have those thoughts on occasion.
And it's a thought. It's not the obsession. It's a thought. Hey,
it's a fleeting thought.
Yeah.
It's not even a lingering thought.
I kind of laugh at it, but you do need to voice it, get it out there.
Yeah. But then, and then the sooner I can tell on myself, the sooner it's disempowered. Right. There's no power.
No power.
Right.
We had this conversation the other day. You know, I travel a lot. I'm gone in rooms. I'm gone by myself all the time. We were in Texas for a meeting, and I never enjoyed alcohol because I just drank it. Right. When people say, "Oh my God, that margarita was so good," I was like, "It's a fucking tequila." Right. Just drink the fucking thing. Why are you enjoying it? Just drink it. You know, I never did understand how, oh my God, that tasted so good. I never understood that. The one and only drink I ever was,
I know which one
it would sit and enjoy as an old fashioned, right? You give me a smoked old fashioned, I'd sit there and sip on it, just enjoying it. We was in Texas at a meeting and the people I was sitting,
the first one. So if you hadn't had a drink yet today, right? You sit down at the bar.
I just got chills.
Yeah. No. I would swallow
not going to enjoy that first one. The first one goes down.
I would have never ordered an old fashioned without already being tuned up.
Okay. That's what I'm getting.
There's just no way. Besides that, the kind of alcoholic I was, by that time of day, I'd been drinking since 5 a.m. anyway. So
I got to have warmed up.
Yeah.
I can enjoy anything.
No.
So I eat a steak because I enjoy a steak.
Right.
I drank for effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And it really didn't matter.
Right.
The one thing I did learn I shouldn't drink was gin because gin made me extremely violent. If I drank gin, man, I didn't care who you were. I want to fight you. And it was,
Okay, so now what were you like on, say, brown alcohol or beer? Well, just.
I kind of like to scrap a little bit anyway. But yeah, I beat the hell out of a lot of hands with this face. You know what I'm saying? You know, but the gin
kind of
made me ornery.
See, tequila is that for me.
And my wife noticed it too. Yeah, I should probably stay away from that gin. Yes, you should.
I concur.
Yeah, Katie used to say that whiskey would make me wild turkey. She says wild turkey would make you gobble.
That's funny.
Yeah, but those old fashions come to that table that they ordered, and they came in a glass case with just smoke filled, right? And when they opened up that glass case, all that smoke come out, and I could just smell it. And I'm like, oh my God, that smells good. And
see, that's a yet for me. I haven't had one of those yet.
As soon as that thought came across my mind, I was like, oh, hell no, right? But that was that second thought, right? That first thought was, oh my God.
Romance in a drink.
Oh, yeah. But the second thought was no.
900 days? You're right where you're supposed to be.
Right.
Yeah. You got a garage loaded with alcohol.
Oh, there's all kinds of wine down
whatever.
there. Yeah. No, I don't. That doesn't.
But it's cool that, but again, that is part of the beauty of this program that we don't mention. You know, we mentioned the program.
Yeah.
And the power of God. Again, I don't think about drinking anymore. I think about breathing. But if I ever did, the next thing I'd pick up is some powdered accelerants.
Right.
I'd tell my wife, see ya, because I'm not coming back, because I know I better get it over with quick, because I don't want that fucking slow. Right. I don't want to meet my maker after a slow liver. You know, I was almost there already.
No, it's a horrible death.
Right.
I love this life. This life is, I couldn't imagine.
No.
We got Pat. We haven't asked Pat this question. I ask everybody this question. Pat, the book talks about, in more about alcoholism, science may one day accomplish this, but it hasn't done so yet, as far as creating a pill or something where people like us could control and enjoy our drinking. If it did, would you take it right now?
I'd take 2. I'm an alcoholic. 1 wouldn't be enough. I'd have to have 2.
Would you say you'd give up this for the pill?
Absolutely not.
I know. But that's
absolutely not. But, we used to joke about that, in my men's group in the Bay Area. I went to the same men's group for 18 years. It was my home group. And they talk about it. Yeah, if I could take a pill and drink, would I take a pill? I said, yeah, I'd take 2. Okay. Because I'm an alcoholic. One's never enough.
Yeah. And I'm addicted to anything God made 2 of.
That's right.
Funny story about that. When I mix Roundup to put outside, it says to put in 4 ounces per gallon. I put in 8.
Of course you do.
That's the alcoholic brain, right?
Did you apply for that lawsuit yet?
Because if 4 is good,
8's got to be better.
8's got to be better.
That's that alcoholic thinking right there.
Yes, it is.
That is just insane amount of thinking.
Oh, man.
So I got something else I want to bring up, and I don't know. I heard this here a while back, and I always, when you hear stuff, it kind of gets you thinking, right? It kind of gets you thinking on some stuff, and I want to just go through this, and it may not go anywhere, but I want some answers on a couple things. So I'm going to play some sentences.
4 sentences that will make you rethink your life. Number 1, happiness is not the absence of problems. It's the ability to deal with them.
Yeah.
Rob. It's the absence
It's not the absence of problems. Right. Happiness is not the absence of problems. Right. It's the ability to deal, the tools to deal with
the problem.
And like Pat said earlier, happiness is an inside job.
Right.
It's it's mostly a choice. Abraham Lincoln said most people are generally as happy as they choose to be.
I absolutely agree with that. It's an inside job. I think if you don't get up in the morning and make a decision to be happy, you've handicapped your opportunity 100%, to be happy.
100%.
Okay, now, and we say that because we have tools. What are some practical applications? How do you, I know we pray, we talk, we get our thinking, get our motives to God's, how do you do it? What is your process in the morning to start your day?
When I get up in the morning, I obviously go relieve my bladder.
Yes.
We're
of that age.
I'm getting a little older. So, and then, we got this GD cat, right? Came to I'm going to make a short story long. My wife threatened us with this, but we got this freaking feral kitten. It all started, I broke my leg.
I remember.
Or we'd have been on vacation, and then this darn cat wouldn't have had any screen door to go to. But since I was home with a broken leg, this friggin' cat got a home out of the deal, right? So now I get up in the morning because the cat wants to get up and eat.
Right.
And I'll get up, open the windows, turn on the house fan, turn on the coffee maker, feed the cat, and I sit down and I read Daily Reflections in a 24-hour book, right? Mm-hmm. So I read the Daily Reflections in the 24-hour book, and that kind of gets me between the lines, right? And that's just that little bit of spiritual work I need to do in the morning to get tuned up, right? But I could be having a great day, and then there's that Prius in the fast lane, right?
Right.
You know, because I got a real, you know, it's something I've learned to live with. But when I commuted from the Central Valley to the Bay Area, you know, it was a thing.
Oh, I bet
right?
you. I know. I'm on these freeways all the time.
And I was driving trucks like you drive, right? You know, where that Prius it'd make noise in the tread for a few miles before you threw that damn thing out.
And I've thought about it many a time.
Oh yeah, and you know. When that stuff starts bothering me, I got to take a look at me, right? I got to take a look at me.
Because there's something inside you that ain't sitting.
Well, yeah. You know, I mean, I've got it's people, places, and things. I'm powerless, right? So I've got to learn to accept other people and their behaviors or distance myself from them. And sometimes you don't have the opportunity, right? So you're just stuck with it. Like the Prius in the fast lane with a half a mile of open lane ahead of them, and you can't get around them, and they're doing 45 miles an hour, and everybody else is doing 60 because they're texting on their god darn phone.
Fucking phone. I see it all the time.
I'm trying to clean it up, right?
I see it all the time.
It happens. And, you know, I'd see it, and, you know, hell, I'm going to be in the truck for 2.5 hours. You know, I know getting in the truck, I'm going to be in the truck for 2.5 hours coming home from the Bay Area, right? So that Prius may cost me a minute.
If that.
Right.
It might cost me a minute, right? But I can't look at that minute, you know, on that 150 minutes I'm going to be in the car. You know, the minute has expanded value.
You can't give that minute any more power than it deserves.
Right.
Because it'll take your serenity.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't know, but what do? I get right with my God in the morning, right? And then if my day goes off the rails, especially when I was working, I'd find a quiet place, and I was fortunate enough to reach a position where I had an office with a door. I go in my office, close my door, hit my knees, and ask God to remove it.
Right.
And restart my day.
Amen.
You know, and I used to talk to guys about, it's like the reset button in those older electronics. You straighten the paper clip out, you know, and you hit that little reset button and boom, you're back in the game. Yeah. It's all working.
I've gotten better at recognizing what, like you said, instead of wait till you get on the tailgate or on the bumper of that Prius, recognizing it that it's, you know, 6 cars up there. Okay, I see a potential of something, and let me see. I ain't going to go around the problem. How am I going to navigate the problem, right? And it helps me, you know, you asked me that the other day, that same kind of questions. How do you reset your day?
Because we're talking to people.
Right,
with us,
right.
But there's people that listen to this. Okay, guys, you talk about having overcome fears. What do you do, you know, then they'll look at Pat, well, heck, Pat, you've had a great life. You're retired. Now you shouldn't have any fears.
Right.
You know, that's bullshit.
Right.
You know, we've had to walk through a lot of them to get here. But what do you do on a practical day-to-day basis to get your life started, to get your mind right, to enjoy happiness?
Right.
How do you become, I mean, it's a choice.
Right.
And if you're not, why are you choosing that?
Right.
You know, 31 years in, you know, I think one of my biggest issues is still selfishness.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I'm not immune. You know, I sold an old jalopy truck I had in April, right? And then I'm one of those guys, I always got to be busy. And my poor wife, God love this woman. I don't know why she sticks around, but I'm grateful for her. I'm constantly shopping for the next one, right?
Yeah.
And I drove to San Diego 3 weeks ago to buy a jalopy truck is what I bought.
What'd you get? Tell the listeners what you got.
I bought a 79 Dodge Ram Charger, right? Or 75 Dodge Ram Charger. No smog. It's a big deal in California. And but I drove to San Diego to go get it. And then I was going to do a round trip. She goes, oh, please don't. She goes, get a room. She goes, you pay for the truck, I'll pay for the room, but get a room. Don't make me worry about you, right? So I got a room, you know?
Right.
And, but I'm still selfish, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Horrible.
And I'm like a dog on a bone.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like a dog on a bone.
Mad.
Yeah, I mean, we all kind of are, but when we get something in our mind, Larry's really bad.
Dude, you get something
Look
in my
where
brain.
we're sitting, Pat. We got a round... the round, you know, this table is about 500 fucking pounds.
Yeah, this thing's heavy.
But it's just,
everything in here was a vision, and I was going to make it happen, and no matter what. My poor wife, when you say your poor wife, oh, trust me, my wife gave up a section of her home that she didn't have a choice in, right?
They all have their crosses to bear.
She didn't have a choice in this.
But I know Katie. She's awesome. She would rather have you doing this than being the drunk asshole.
Right. Oh, yeah. No, for sure. But, the money that I've spent in this, I mean, here's for me is I'm going to give back no matter what, right? I mean, and she's going to allow me to give back until the finances tell you to know you're not anymore, right? That's the difference in our thought process. To where, and you know who's right in that matter? She is, right? She is. But that's what being sober is allowing me to come back and see, right? Is that, I can't do it no matter what, right? I got to do it until, you just can't do it anymore. You just got to let that go. Right,
what's the next clip?
Number 2, feeling sad after making a decision doesn't mean it was the wrong decision.
That one I had a hard time with when I heard it. Feeling sad after you make a decision is not always because you made the wrong.
No, because being sad, being angry, sometimes those are human. It's a way we mourn what was lost, or what was decided. It's a way of getting over it.
Well, it's not only that. What about buyer's remorse when you buy a car?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
The first thing that popped into my mind was when you have an elderly pet that's in ill health, and you have to make the call.
Right.
I had to do that recently,
and that's devastating. Right. Because they, animals become part of the family. I mean, if you love your animals like we love my animals in my house, they're part of the family.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And this GD cat that I keep talking about, I love that little rascal. That cat, I got scars from the cat. I got open wounds from the cat. But, I love the little rascal. We made a commitment to that little rat. Actually, it's a cat, but we made a commitment to that cat. And you know what? I'm going to honor my commitment.
Right.
Right. But that's the first thing that popped into my mind because we lost a couple 2 years ago, and it shook the household. We lost the dog and the cat about 4 months apart, and they were both like 15-year members.
Okay, that one I had but this is the one. Number 3, you're not stressed because you're doing too much. You're stressed because you're doing too little of what makes you feel most alive.
You're doing too little what makes you feel alive. Wouldn't that make you selfish?
Well, if you agreed with that, which I mean, that could be one reason why you're stressed. But there's more than that. I mean, you could be stressed because you're overburdened. You could be stressed because you're trying to control everything. And the outcome. There's many because stress. If you want to get in it, the number one killer in this country is inflammation. That causes cancer, heart disease, inflammation. The number one cause of inflammation, oxidative stress, which is 9 times out of 10 shit we bring on ourselves.
Right.
My mother
self-inflicted misery.
My mother had half a stomach because of ulcers. Because if she didn't have shit to worry about, which a lot of times she didn't, she'd worry about your shit.
Right.
And that's stuff that is controllable.
Oh yeah.
And control is an illusion. Again, the only 2 things I can control at any given moment: my attitude, my effort.
Right.
Beyond that, it's a crapshoot.
Right.
I may have influence over my kids. I can't even control my bowel movements sometimes. So what the fuck do I control? Honestly,
I started looking at the clock differently. I started looking at it, instead of saying I only got an hour, I have an hour. Right. We got to be there in an hour.
Words matter.
It does. And you know
Words
what?
matter.
Not only to other people that you're speaking to, but in my own brain.
Exactly. Don't feed yourself certain.
Right. Because I used to think, and Pat, you said it a minute ago, that the minute you said, what did you say? The minute, as you were talking about the Prius, you said that 1 minute you can stretch that 1 minute. You said it some way, and I meant
to expand its importance.
Right.
Explode its importance.
Right, explode its importance, and that hit a lot of home for me because I told Michael, our friend, sitting outside one day, I was like, a minute's an hour to me, to an hour's less than a minute. Right, that's kind of the way my brain, depending on what I'm waiting for or what I'm not waiting for, right? If I'm waiting for it to open a Christmas present, that minute feels like 4 hours, right? And vice versa, to where now I try to train my brain to where everything
and your language.
And my language to my, not even who I'm, like I said, not who I'm speaking to.
For yourself. That's
if I know I have to be somewhere at 6 o'clock and it's 5 o'clock, instead of saying, I only got an hour, I have an hour, right? I have an hour.
You drop that only part.
Right. And it's made such a difference in everything I do.
That's why when I asked you the other day when you talked about you said a shitty day, and I said, And because I've never, in sobriety, I've never had a bad day. I've had a lot of hard days.
Right.
But I've never had a bad day. Yeah. And I say that not for anybody else, because I want you to agree with me. I say that for Rob's self.
Right.
Because we're talk about, the story we want to talk about attitude and cancer. I'm going to show you the story. I was going through cancer. The man's name was John. We'll call him John because that's his fucking name. Good dude. He had been doing the job. He's slightly younger than me. I'm 51 now. He would always tell me, Rob, when it comes to cancer, and I say life, but this is what he told me, Pat. When it comes to cancer, attitude is everything. He would stress that. Yep. Attitude is everything. Rob, he goes, in week 5, Rob, you're going to hate my fucking guts. And he said it just like that because we were off, that's what he mean. He says, because the two most painful kinds of cancer treatments, he said, head and neck, because you got to eat, and your ass because you got to shit, He goes, but they're very treatable. But he goes, you're going to see me as the man causing all this pain. You're going to hate my guts. So week 5 shows up. I'm feeling like hot garbage. The machine's broke. The technician's in there working on it. And John comes to sit by me. And I said, hey, buddy. He goes, I go, week 5, day 1, Monday. He said, yep. And I looked, I go, I love you. and it hit him. And he goes, Rob, he goes, when I say attitude is everything with cancer. He goes, I'm not allowed to say this, but the reason I say this, since we're waiting on the technician, he goes, I've seen people come in. He goes, that's what he tells me, Rob, keep your attitude. Because I was always, joking. I'm Rob. Right. He says, now, he goes, there was a man, and this is about 6-month process, because you're in there with the same people. Right. You're going through, you see him, because mine was Monday through Friday at 10:30, and there's one guy ended up putting a bullet in his head, because he couldn't see himself. One lady, kidney shut down, she died. Anyway, he said 6 months ago, there was two people came in. I was 47 at the time. There was a woman, my age, 47, then there was a man, 45. Same cancer as I had, stage 4, squamous cell carcinoma, lymph node, same treatment. She's alive. He's dead. And he goes, she was a lot like you, Rob. She was a woman of faith. She didn't flirt with the nurses like you did, but she was positive. She was uplifted, even though she felt like hot garbage, and you could tell she was just always that. Right. The man, he was more like, woe is me, why me? I never smoked. I shouldn't have this. You should, that kind. He goes, and I've seen that over the 18 years. He goes, I don't know what it does to the body. Right. But people who come in with that attitude, whether they're people of faith or not, but that positive attitude, they have a better outcome all the time. Stay positive, keep that positive. So in life, you can feel, trust me, you can be getting chemotherapy for 8 hours and be happy, joyous, and free. I've done it. Yeah. It's not easy, but I've done it. It takes God and people around, it takes a team, but you can do it. Right. If you choose it, like Pat
choose
said.
It. That's the key right there. Pat, you said it.
So that was a long way of saying attitude is everything. 100%. And it's something that I can control. My attitude, my effort, I control those at any given time.
That is all we can control.
Well, you get to do a lot of stuff in this life, right?
Mm-hmm.
I used to have to do a lot of stuff.
Love it.
Right. And when I got here to recovery, I was a victim. If you guys would just stop doing the stuff you were doing, I'd be fine. Right. Not realizing or not wanting to take responsibility for the fact that I had a hand in my course. In my path, right? And doing this program, working these steps, that spiritual awakening changed my entire outlook, right?
Yes.
I mean, I went from a victim mentality. I'm not a victim, man. No. I'm just another child of God. Right. That guy, why me? Why not you?
Right.
Right? I don't get to, say that I won't be afflicted with some poor health thing tomorrow.
Right.
I hope not. I hope I can face it with the courage and grace that I've seen people face it with, But, like going to work, man. I got to go to work tomorrow, man. There are so many people out there that would love to have your job, right? They don't have the opportunity. It's not a burden, it's an opportunity, right?
Depends on how you look at it.
Absolutely. The stress thing. I was in construction for a long time. I built some big stuff, man, 10-figure jobs.
And dealt with deadlines. And you
but the stress, when I would be most stressed out is when I wasn't completely prepared, right? When there was work still to do and I ran out of time or had my priorities askew and I just wasn't completely prepared. that would be when I was the most stressed out, you know? Dealing with difficult personalities, yeah, okay, he's going to be difficult. It's going to suck, right? Mm-hmm. Having inspectors that are like, you know,
assholes.
I was going to use the BB words, but yeah, having difficult inspectors, you know, if you know going in, you can plan for it, right? You know, but for me, the stress is when I wasn't as prepared as I wanted to be. When all my ducks weren't quite in a row.
Right.
You know, I got 9 ducks that are going straight, and I got this one duck way the hell over here that just won't get his shit together. Yeah. Right? You know, the duck that's going to bring the whole thing down. Come here, you little bastard.
You know? But does that go back to the fear? That stress? Is stress brought on by fear?
Yeah, well, yeah, you're not going to make it. You're either going to lose something that you think you.
The stress has to be brought on by fear.
You're not going to gain something, so it could be you're not going to meet your deadline. It's going to be you're not going to meet your budget. You're afraid that those things.
Take that back. Where's that stress coming from? Right?
From ourselves or
from outside. Ourselves, but it's the fear of not knowing that's creating that. Because isn't fear, stress, and anxiety?
Fear of failure, fear of success.
Right.
So the paradox, right? We do the footwork and we leave the results to God.
There you go. Right.
I was in a result-oriented industry. I was responsible for results. Right. You know, but at the end of the day, I can only do what I can do. Right. And then it is what it is.
Yeah.
And God, you know, it's going to work out exactly the way it's supposed to. And that's when I got there and I stopped taking the phone on vacation.
Right.
Smart.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? There was a point where my life changed. You know, I stopped taking the phone on vacation. I did everything I could do and left the results. I was able to free myself of the responsibility of the result. I did the best I could do, and then we'll see where it goes, and we'll fix it.
Yeah, you're right. If something goes left, we'll deal with it. And then I love that. But we talk about surrender, because surrender is not giving up. Uh-huh. It's not throwing in the towel. Right. It's relinquishing authority.
Right.
Right? I'm still a part of the army. I'm just not the general anymore.
Right.
I'm just a foot soldier. God is.
Right.
And I've let him be in his place, and I have surrendered. I've relinquished authority to him. I'll like Pastor, do the best you can, and he's got it. And it tends to work out better, and I don't stress as much because I realize what's in my purview and what isn't.
Here's the way I talk to, because I coach high school football, and here's one of the things I tell the guys. If you give 100% on that field, right, and you walk off that field and never look at that scoreboard, doesn't matter, right? If you won or lost that game, if you give 100% of yourself on that field, and if you never know what that score is when you walk off, does it make any difference? I can promise you.
On a personal level, it shouldn't.
No.
Well, that's funny because when I was coaching, I coached baseball from when my boy was 5 to when he was 12, right? Girls volleyball, girls basketball, boys basketball. And the kids ask me, hey, Coach, what's the score? I go, it's fun to fun.
Right.
Are you having fun? Then we're winning. Right. and they, Coach, but what's the score? Fun to fun. And they get twisted up, right? Because, you know, they're programmed from their parents, you know?
And then again, at certain ages, and there's going to come a time where scoreboard matters.
Right, it does.
But there's times where it doesn't. And that's
it's like 8 or 9. When it starts mattering.
But I mean,
at
think
5,
about
6, 7,
that.
they don't care.
No,
if you're giving everything you got,
that's all you can do.
If you're giving everything you got, the scoreboard ain't going to matter because you have nothing else to give that's going to make a difference in that fucking scoreboard anyways, right? If you truly get, but see, that's the way I have to do things in me. I have to do everything at 110%. And because I know that if I do that, then it's not up to me anymore.
And honestly, in youth athletics, it's all about the treat after the game. Who's the team mom this week? Yeah. Oh, Johnny's mom brings the homemade cupcakes. We're all set.
Yeah.
All right, one more.
And number 4, the lesson you struggle with will repeat itself until you learn from it.
Yeah.
Save the best for last.
100%.
100%.
The definition of insanity comes to mind.
Right. That's the one that, that was the one when I heard that, I was like, oh yeah, no, this is going to be a fun one to talk. The lesson you struggle with will repeat itself. The lesson you struggle with will repeat itself
Until you've learned it.
Until you learn from it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
until you learn the lesson that God wants you to learn.
Right.
And I can't tell you how that plays into part of what we talk about. How you've done it. Everybody comes to me, Rob, they're frustrated where they're at. Maybe they're, you know, they took a less of a job. You know, they're waiting for God to open a door. And I tell them, until you are content with where God has you right now, you can actually say to him, God, if this is where you want me, I'm good. And mean it. The door will open. Until that, well, I'm ready. No, you're not ready.
Nope.
And how do you know? Well, the reason I know that, because the door hasn't opened yet.
Right.
You have not learned what he wants you to learn. And he's not going to open that door because God does, like Pat said, didn't bring you this far to drop you on your head. He's not going to open that door and let you walk in unprepared because you'll fail. God doesn't fail. No. So you will stay here until you can finally say, Lord, if this is where you want me, shoveling shit, whatever, I'm good with it. And when you are really good, that door will open. And then you are prepared for what he has in store for you. And it won't happen before then.
You know, I was running, like Pat, running crews and running the company, answering to God and the owner. That's all I answer to. And after I got sober, I went to work for the company I'm working for now, still with that same personality, same with that still intent that I was going to come here and run it the way I was running it over there. And it took a man that's not in AA, right, who was my boss.
He did me a great favor.
Shut up, Rob.
Great favor.
That took that man to continue to chip away my ego until I realized that I'm not in charge. I'm not this. I'm not that. I'm just a salesman. Dude, you're just a salesman. And if you really want to break it back, Larry, you're just a truck driver that got a little smarter than the other ones. That's all you are. You're a truck driver. So stop trying to make yourself something that you're fucking not. Stay right here, like Rob says, do this that I tell you to do and shut up. But I still find myself getting anxiety, getting the stress, getting this, because when I watch other people do something that I don't agree with the way they're doing it, I could do it better. Right?
It's ego deflation.
Oh, it's all the time. I do it all.
And you might be right, but it's not yours to do.
It's not mine to do.
Right.
So, you know, early in my career, it's like, look at all this stuff I built, right?
Right.
And then, you know,
Right.
Look at all this stuff I built, you know, but I didn't build anything single-handedly except maybe a birdhouse in the Home Depot parking lot, right? I mean, I built a few things by myself, but let's be honest here. These big projects, they don't get built by one person. It's a team sport. It's a group effort, right? And then I'd have people later in my career, and they'd come up to me and they'd say, "Hey, man, that's a great job you built." It's like, wait a minute, time out. I said, I'm just a hood ornament,
Right.
and I got a whole team behind me that's the machine. I'm the chrome on the bumper. The driving force, the machine is behind me. It's this office full of 25 or 30 people.
Right.
It's those 35 subcontractor foremen that I meet with twice a week.
Right.
It's the 350 guys in the field that are taking their direction from those foremen, right? You know, you could take the Mercedes emblem off and put a BMW emblem on there, and you're still going to end up with an automobile.
Right.
It may look
That
different.
is a very true
right?
fact.
Yeah.
Very
You know,
true
but
fact.
I'm just like, you know.
Okay, now that's humility.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And which we talk about in the program. But I believe that, for me, humility lives in the house of gratitude built. Because if you ever come across a man that's getting ready to tell you how humble he is, walk, and I won't use the F word, walk the hell away. Because you don't want nothing he has. But if you walk up on a man who's getting ready to tell you how thankful he is, one, you're going to find a humble man who's right-sized. And two, you might want to ask him two questions. What are you thankful for? And who are you thankful to?
Right.
And sit there and listen.
Yep.
And you might walk away a little bit better off than you showed up.
Yep.
So I appreciate that.
Well, guys, I'm going to shut this down. I thank you for covering for me. You know, I at the beginning of this, dude,
that's
I'm
what the
telling
podcast is about. Get into those kind of weeds.
But you know what? It's supposed to be for our guests, not for the host.
I was kind of hoping for some ugly crying, and you fell a little short of the ugly crying. There was
I did.
snot and everything running
if
down
you
your
hadn't
face.
broke in, we probably got it out of him.
Yeah,
Snot
no,
bubbling.
it was-
he was you know, on the
I was
hook
getting
there.
ready to shut the off button to the
Oh,
computer.
I'd throw something at you.
I know you would have. That's what I almost did, and then I was like, "Yeah, Rob's gonna throw something at me."
You know, in every one of those episodes, though, there's some healing. Every time,
Yes,
I find
it is.
myself with a big lump in my throat, right? And I can't get the words out
Right.
I've cried at every episode.
Yeah.
because of the emotion, right? I know that there's just a little bit more repair being done because I got to face that stuff, right?
And that's my ultimate. Stop it.
Wait.
That is our ultimate goal.
Say it again.
Right.
You got to what?
I've got to face that stuff.
Yep.
Face everything and recover.
Right.
fuck everything and run. Fear.
Right.
Which one are you going to do? You got to choose. You're going to choose one of them. Which one are you going to choose?
Yeah. And that's,
I'm too old and fat to run, so I'm going to have to turn and fight, man. I mean,
you know what? I've done that run, and I'm over it. Fuck it. I'm going to stay right here and fight it, and I'm going to stay sober. I enjoy.
Because we're not alone anymore.
No, I'm not.
I never have
you
to
know
fight
what, though,
anything
Rob?
alone.
You say that, right? You say that. I was never alone.
Right.
I was never alone. My perception was I was alone.
Right.
My mental state. And Katie said this before. Larry, you haven't really dug into your depression. You guys haven't really talked about the depression, right, that comes along with alcoholism. Because I had that deep. My depression, we haven't dug into that. And Rob and I have, right, in my sobriety, in my steps, we've talked about my depression was. But we haven't talked about depression on this podcast. And that's something that's going to be coming up. Yeah, so I was never alone. Katie was always there. My wife was always there. My daughters was always there. Everybody was always around me, but my perception that I was alone. I can honestly say right now on this side of it, what I feel from everybody else around me, I was never alone at all. I had people with me, and now being on this side, feeling that and knowing the love that we have, why in the fuck would I ever want to go back that other direction?
I can't imagine why people.
Why would anybody want to ever go back there?
So, I've always had my people, right? But I'm drawn to that footprints in the sand thing, right?
Oh yeah.
Where the guy he's going through some stuff, and there's two sets of footprints in the sand. Then he's going through some really hard times, and there's only one set of footprints, and he's going, God, why'd you leave me?
Right. I love that one.
And God said, no, that's where I was carrying you.
Carrying you. Yep.
Right. So we're never alone.
Nope.
But you don't realize. But in our addiction, our alcoholism, we would withdraw from people.
Oh, I did.
I mean, I could be in a room 1,000 people, but be by myself because I was not present in the moment. I was just inside myself.
Right. It's like that fellow that's fairly new today was talking about isolation.
Yeah.
Isolation is insidious.
Oh, yeah.
And we would do it.
I did it in a heartbeat.
I still enjoy my own company. Right? Mm-hmm.
I do.
Oh, I love it. I love being by myself. Love it.
It's different, though, obviously, than when we were hiding or
way different now.
With guilt, shame, fear, remorse, and we're trying to drown it with until that shit learns to swim.
I now when I'm alone, I'm able to think about this and able to, I've been going down a journey. I want to know my wife better, right? I want to know her better. We've been together since our senior year. Well, my senior year, her junior year of high school. So 1988, we've been together, basically inseparable. I still don't know. I don't feel like I know her, right? And I think it's because I went through so many years of being away from her that we both got older, but there was so much I missed and didn't get to learn. So I'm in a process right now trying to learn my wife again.
So I'm going to tell you something, and this is just my experience with the relationship I have with the woman in my life, right? I would give her my last breath.
Yep.
Right?
100%.
And we've been together. It was, let's see, this is 39 years last month is when I caught her on the boardwalk at the fair.
That's an accomplishment.
Tied her up.
No, well, that's when I met her at the fair, right? And I guarantee you she knows me way better than I know her because they're wired differently than we are.
Yep.
Right? They are.
Right.
And, I'm not going to feel bad about it. I'm the guy I am. I know her pretty well.
Right.
We know each other pretty well. But, she is more of a caretaker than I am, I guess. I don't even know where I'm going with this, except that I would put my money on my wife knowing me better than I know her every day of the week, twice on Sunday.
For me, it's a toss-up because my wife's 48. I've known her for 45 years.
You guys
since
grew up
she was
together.
3, and then we were the first family. They met when they moved here, so but she knows me well because we were talking the other day. We were walking the dog, and one of the amazing things is she doesn't usually say stuff like this. But we were talking about, we've probably in 24 years of marriage, and all, maybe had a crossword 5 times. She says probably less than that. You want to know why? And I was like, do tell, because we have never told each other anything. I've never told you anything. You never told, because you tell me,
That's
Pat, he said, if Rob, go left. Fuck you, I'm going right. Don't tell me.
Right.
And I did the same thing with her. Hey, babe, I'm getting this. And she's going to do just the opposite out of spite and then watch it burn.
Right.
We've never told each other anything. And that's why we've had difficulties, but we've never had it really, we just haven't had it.
I had to be an understanding of fairly early in your guys' relationship for that. I've heard you say that before.
I got this vision of 6-year-old Rob going, yeah, that 3-year-old's all mine.
Yeah. Oh, no. She was in love with my dad growing up. We had wrestling tournaments. We still have letters. She would write my dad love letters and for Valentine's Day because she was in love with my father growing up. I was the closest she could get.
Poor girl.
Yeah.
Lucky for your mother.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Pat, I appreciate you being here so much, man. Your guys' knowledge, I'm definitely going to have you back again.
And maybe Mrs. Pat.
Yeah, I'd love that. I mean, the husband and wife is to hear the dynamics, to hear the sober wife, and even the drunk wife and the sober husband. Whatever to have that dynamic.
My wife's normal. She can have a drink.
So's Katie. Katie's as normal as they come.
I don't get it.
Right.
I mean, she pour a glass of wine and pour half of it out. It's like, just pour half a glass. You're wasting that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
liquid gold. What are you doing?
Yeah, no kidding.
By.
No kidding.
We went to, just a real quick story. We went to over in Fresno over in Livermore last weekend to have lunch with my friend. And he orders this Heffenweizen, and he sits over there, and as soon as it shows up, I can tell it's got lemon in it, right? I go, dude, that don't look right. And he goes, and he takes one drink out of it, and he sets it back down. Oh, no, I'm not drinking that. And I'm like, the waitress comes by and goes, you don't like it? No, I'm going to have to get another drink. And in my alcoholic fucking brain, I'm like, I would just fucking down that thing and make him bring another one.
Yeah.
Fuck you going to take it back for?
No, yeah. Again.
They're going to pour it out.
We don't get it. I don't get it. What used to drive me nuts is this one. When people are talking to you, they got their drink, they'll start getting ready to take a drink, and then they'll continue talking. Bring it up to their mouth and talk like, mother, drink it. Jesus Christ. Don't either drink it or put it on the table, but quit doing this.
My brother Tom is sober 12 years. And I cleaned his house out once. He had to go on a state-funded vacation, so I had to clean his house out, right? I had to clean his house out, and I found half beers all over the place, half full cans of beer all over the place. And I'm thinking, what the F is wrong with you, man?
What was he thinking?
He was probably spinning, and put it down and forgot it. Got another one, But at some point, you're coming back across it. It's not that old.
Yeah, it's not that warm. Come on.
I had to clean up after my daughter's wedding. Me and my wife dumped 4.5 gallons. We had a fight. I just was taking all the stuff off the tables. Yeah. I was pouring it in a bucket. It was just quicker than, and it was about 4.5 gallons of alcohol in there. And it literally about made me cry. I'm like, why in the fuck would you do that? Why?
It's a waste. Alcohol abuse is what it is.
I'm thinking you take a 10-pound bag of ice, you got a cocktail.
Yeah. Hey, drill a hole in a watermelon, pour that in there, start eating.
Plugging those watermelons isn't as easy as it sounds. It's not as easy as they make it look.
All right, let's get out of here, guys. Pat, thank you so much. Right. Remember, you can reach us at recoveryunfilteredpodcast at gmail.com on all of our social medias as well. And once again, that's recoveryunfilteredpodcast at gmail.com. Rob, out of here, brother. Love you.
Thank you, Pat.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us today.
We hope you learned something today that will help you.
If you did not, come back next week and we'll try again.
If you like what we heard, give us a 5-star review. If you don't like what you heard, kiss my ass. You can't say that, can you? Anyway, if you don't like what you heard, go ahead and tell us that too. We'll see what we can improve. We probably won't change nothing, but do it anyway.
Hey, thanks, Rob. Come back next week and hopefully something will be different and something will sink in. Take care.
This has been Recovery Unfiltered.